Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the mains model examination number 4 on 5th September 2021. This exam syllabus includes types of chemical reactions. The first one is that CaOH taken twice, calcium hydroxide, and CO2 when they react with each other, we get CaCO3 and H2. It is given equation. In this reaction, shiny finish to the walls is due to which compound they are asking. So here CaCO3 is what? The shiny layer formed on the walls. Okay, it is whitewash of the walls. In this reaction, what happens now here? The CO2 in the air reacts with the calcium hydroxide and it converts into CaCO3, which forms a white layer, shiny layer on the walls. And the next one is that not an exothermic reaction. Which of the following is not an exothermic reaction? So from the given equations, it is acid reacting with a base. The reaction between acid and base is called neutralization reaction. In this reaction, always energy is released. Products plus E. Products plus energy indicates what? Exothermic reaction. And second one, calcium oxide, quicklime. What is quicklime? This quicklime when reacts with what? Water. That means when quicklime is dissolved in water, we get calcium hydroxide plus heat energy. A product plus heat energy, again, exothermic reaction. Okay. And next, calcium hydroxide plus CO2, this equation. CaOH taken twice plus CO2 gives rise to CaCO3 plus H2O minus energy. Products minus energy indicates what? Endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction means heat energy is absorbed by the reactant. Next one, magnesium plus oxygen. When magnesium is burnt in oxygen, combustion of magnesium in oxygen gives what? Magnesium oxide, and some amount of energy is released here. So products plus energy indicates what? Exo. So which is not exothermic reaction here? Option C. Next, which of the following is correct? Which of the following is correct? Now it is unbalanced equation or skeleton equation, and it is also not correct. So completely balanced equation is this one here. 1 mole zinc reacts with the 2 moles HCl to form what? 1 mole ZnCl2 and 1 mole H2 gas. It is balanced equation. Next, a chemical equation should be balanced because the law of dash should be verified. The law of conservation of mass should be verified. The Lavoisier proposed what? The law of conservation of mass, according to which the total mass of the reactants before the reaction must be equal to the total masses of the products formed. So law of conservation of mass should be verified so that we have to balance chemical equation. Next one, a carbon plus O2 minus energy. Okay, reactants minus energy. Reactants minus energy is nothing but reactants are losing energy. Reactants are losing some amount of energy and forming CO2. So when reactants lose energy, that is called exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. Next, if the gas liberated in an experiment allows the burning splinter to continue burning more brightly in its presence, the gas must be what now here? Oxygen. Oxygen gas allows the burning splinter to continue burning more brightly. So the oxygen gas makes the burning splinter burn more brightly. Okay. Next, number of moles of oxygen needed to produce 4 moles of water. 4 moles of water on reacting with 4 moles of hydrogen. What is the reaction between H2 and O2 to form water? Here 2H2 plus O2 gives rise to 2H2. Okay, so here 2 moles of water will be formed from 2 moles of H2. Then 4 moles of water can be formed from how many moles of hydrogen? 4 moles of hydrogen. And 2 moles of water from 1 mole of oxygen, and 4 moles of water will be from 2 moles of oxygen. 2 moles of oxygen gas. Okay, next. The reaction that takes place when quicklime is what? Calcium oxide is added to water is heat liberating reaction, means what? Exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. Next, solution of copper sulfate, CuSO4. What is the name? What is the formula? Cu SO4. Name of the compound is what? Calcium sulfate and iron sulfate, Fe, SO4, and sodium sulfate, Na2, SO4 taken, means Na2SO4. Na plus 1 each one, plus 2, and SO4 minus 2. So iron sulfate, copper sulfate, and sodium sulfate. What are the metals here? Copper, iron, and sodium. Is that clear? Marked as X. X is copper sulfate, Y is iron sulfate, Z is sodium sulfate. Now Z is what now? Sodium. Z is what here? Sodium. Okay. Now few pieces of aluminium, few pieces of which element? Aluminium are added to each solution. Now aluminium is more metallic than what? Copper and iron. Aluminium is more metallic than copper and iron, but aluminium is less metallic than sodium. So aluminium cannot displace sodium, whereas aluminium can displace copper and iron. Okay, copper and iron present in which solutions? X and Y. So in solution X and solution Y, copper and iron can be displaced, can be replaced by aluminum here. So in X and Y solutions, copper and iron can be displaced by aluminum. So chemical change takes place in solution X and solution Y. Okay. Next. Which of the following is a self-balanced equation? Means auto-balanced equation. Self-balanced, otherwise auto-balanced equation. So it is CaCO3 gives rise to CaO plus CO2. It is what now? Auto-balanced or self-balanced equation. Next one. Iron plus 2HCl. Iron plus 2HCl gives rise to FeCl2 and H2 gas. In this reaction, iron is more reactive than hydrogen. Actually, we should not read iron. Iron is more reactive than what? Hydrogen. That's why iron can displace what? Hydrogen. Hydrogen can be displaced by iron because iron is what? More reactive than hydrogen. Okay, this is possible reaction. Next. Hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon is what? CXHY. X number of carbon atoms and Y number of hydrogen atoms. From wax we have taken candle wax. So from candle wax, what is taken? Hydrocarbon plus oxygen from air. Oxygen from air. On combustion, on burning, we get what? A and B. Whenever hydrocarbon is combusted, on combustion of hydrocarbon, we get always carbon dioxide and CO2. So carbon dioxide A here, and B is what now? H2O. Along with that, heat energy is released. Why heat energy is released here? It is exothermic reaction. All combustion reactions are exothermic, and also light energy will be released here. Okay, so what will be A and B compounds here? Carbon oxidizes to form CO2, hydrogen oxidizes to form H2O. Next, when mercuric oxide here, HgO, when mercuric oxide decomposes to form mercury and oxygen, it absorbs what? The mercuric oxide absorbs what? Large amount of heat energy or light energy. So both the light energy and heat energy will be positive here. So both B or C you can take here. So the options what now will be or C correct here. Okay. Next, sugar formula what? C12 H22 O11. On heating the sugar strongly, we get carbon and H2O. H2O is in the form of steam here. Why H2O in the form of steam? Because the temperature will be high. Above 100 degrees Celsius, the water will exist in the form of steam. So the carbon and steam. So here 12 carbon plus 11 H2. So this C12H22O11, on heating strongly, we get what? Black colored carbon and 11 moles of H2O we get. 12 moles of carbon and 11 moles of H2O is formed, steam. Next, which of the following is not a redox reaction? Not a redox reaction. Means what now? There should not be any change in oxidation state. There should not be any change in the charge. Okay, now here, what is the calcium oxidation number? +2. And carbon oxidation number +4. +4. Okay, next, O3 is what now here? Each oxygen -2. So calcium +2, carbon +4, oxygen each one -2. Again here calcium +2, Any change in charge of the calcium? No. +2, no change. And here oxygen -2. Any change in the oxygen charge? -2, same. And carbon +4. Carbon +4. No change in carbon oxidation state. And again oxygen is what? -2. So any element's oxidation number is not changed. That's why it is what? Not a redox reaction. Simply it is a decomposition reaction, chemical decomposition reaction, but cannot be taken as redox reaction. Now if you take this reaction, in this case what is happening? Oxygen is 0, hydrogen is 0. Now hydrogen is +1 here. Hydrogen is having +1, oxygen is having -2. Now 0 to -2 is what? Decrease in the charge. And 0 to +1 is what? Increase in the charge. Increase in the charge is called oxidation, and decrease in the charge is called reduction. Is that clear, ma? Next. So like this, these all are what now? Redox reactions. If one element undergoes reduction and the other element undergoes oxidation, it is called redox reaction. Means the reactions in which both oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously. Next one. Which of the following is a disproportionation reaction? Disproportionation reaction. So the difference between a redox reaction and disproportionation reaction is that, here you check it here. Now in this H2O2 hydrogen peroxide, oxygen is having what now? Each oxygen is having -1. Each oxygen is having -1. Okay, in peroxide, what is the state, oxidation state of oxygen? -1. Okay, how many oxygens there here? Totally 4. 2 into 2, 4 there here. So 4 number of O- there here in H2O2. Now in this case, in H2O, what is the charge of oxygen? -2. In H2O, the charge on oxygen is what? -2. In O2 molecule, 0. In O2 molecule, 0. Oxidation state of oxygen is what? 0 in O2 molecule. But in H2O molecule, oxygen charge is what? -2. That means here -1, oxidation state of oxygen, -1 is going to -2, means decrease in the charge is happening here. The decrease in the charge is called what? The decrease in oxidation state is called what? Reduction. So O- is reduced to O -2. O-1 is reduced to what? O-2, reduction. Again, O-1 is also reduced, is also oxidized to O0. Now -1 is greater value, 0 is greater value, 0. So -1 to 0 indicates what? Increase in the charge. Increase in the charge is called what? Oxidation. So some O- ions changing into O0, undergoing oxidation. Some other O- ions are undergoing reduction to O-2. So what is happening here? O-1 is going to O-2. O-1 is going to O-2, right? And now here, tell me now what happens. O-1 is going to O-1, -2. And here O-1 is also going to O0. Now here -1 is going to -2 now. So it is called what now here? Reduction. Reduction. And here -1 is going to 0. So it is oxidation. So oxidation is undergone by oxygen. Reduction also is undergone by oxygen. Same element is undergoing what? Atoms of same element undergoing reduction as well as oxidation. That's why this reaction special name is given what? Disproportionation reaction instead of simply redox reaction. Is that clear, ma? So here in this reaction, what is happening? Tell me. Atoms of same element, that is oxygen, undergoing oxidation as well as reduction. Therefore, this reaction is an example of disproportionation reaction. Next. Sorry, 42 is that, na? Yeah. Now 42 is what? In the reaction, FeCl3 plus H2S. FeCl3 gives rise to FeCl2 here. And H2S is going to sulfur. Now in H2S, S is having -2, but in sulfur, in case of sulfur atom, 0. -2 to 0, increase in the charge. Increase in the charge is called what? Oxidation. And here Fe+3 is there, right? What is there here? Fe+3. Fe+3 in FeCl3. And in Fe+2, in FeCl2 it is Fe+2. Now +3 is changed into +2. Means the decrease in the charge is going on. Decrease in the charge is called what? Reduction. So which is undergoing reduction here? FeCl3 undergoes reduction, and therefore acts as what? Oxidizing agent. If any compound undergoes, if any substance undergoes reduction itself, it will act as what? Oxidizing agent. So FeCl3 here undergoes reduction itself, but acts as oxidizing agent. Okay. Next, 2 moles of aluminum hydroxide. 2 moles of aluminum hydroxide solid on heating converts into what? Decomposes to aluminum oxide and H2 gas. Okay, on at high temperature, H2O will be in the form of gas. Okay, and Al2O3 solid is produced. So, which of the following statements is true for the above reaction? So, what is true here? A compound means this one. A compound decomposes to form 2 new compounds. Now, this Al2O3 is made up of 2 elements, compound. H2O is made up of 2 elements, compound. AlOH taken thrice also is a compound made up of more than 2 elements. Okay, if a substance is made up of 2 or more elements, that is called compound. If the substance is made up of only one kind of atoms, that is called element. Okay, so one compound is decomposed into 2 other new compounds. This process is happening. Next, which of the following is not a single displacement reaction? Not. Which is not a single displacement reaction means, okay, not single means what? Double displacement. Okay, so in this case, what is happening? Pb plus 2 ion, NO3 minus 1 ion, K plus ion and I minus ion, K plus 1, I minus. Now here double displacement is going on, 2 cations and 2 anions. So here NO3 minus is displaced by I minus is displaced by NO3. So PbNO3 becomes what? PbI. Ki becomes what? KNO3. So double displacement is going on here. Okay, so it is not single displacement. The first option is not a single displacement. It is a double displacement. Remaining cases, here copper is displaced by magnesium, only one displacement. Here iodine is displaced by chlorine, only one displacement. But here 2 displacements there. Next, the double displacement reaction in which one of the products is insoluble in water. If the compound is insoluble in water, it is called what? Precipitate. What we say? Precipitate. Okay, so the reaction is what now? Precipitation reaction. In neutralization reaction, what happens? Tell me. HCl plus NaOH. HCl plus NaOH gives rise to what? Gives rise to NaCl plus H2O. Here it is soluble. NaCl is soluble here. NaCl is what, ma? Soluble. Soluble in water. But here if you take AgCl, AgCl is what? Precipitate. So the double displacement. This reaction also is what? Double displacement only. But in this double displacement reaction, soluble substance will be formed. But in precipitation, insoluble substance is formed in water. So what is asked in question here? Insoluble in water. Therefore, we have to take precipitation reaction. In place of insoluble in the question, suppose if soluble is there, in place of insoluble, if soluble is given, then we take what now? Neutralization. But here insoluble is given, na? Not soluble. That's why precipitation reaction we take. Next one, the number of carbon atoms present in glucose. Formula what? C12H22. Sorry, it's sucrose, na? What is glucose formula? What is glucose formula? Tell me. C6H12O6. So how many carbon atoms here? 6. Okay. Next, the number of phosphorus atoms present in phosphorus pentoxide. Phosphorus pentoxide formula P2O5. In this, how many phosphorus atoms there? 2 there. Next, in a comproportionation reaction, Ag plus 2 is going to Ag plus X. Ag plus 2 is going to what? Ag plus X. And also they said Ag0. Ag means atom, na? Any atom will be 0, 0. So Ag0 is going to Ag plus X. Ag0 is going to Ag plus X. Ag plus 2 also going to Ag plus X. Okay. So in this reaction, now what we have to understand is that, so Ag plus 2 plus Ag0 will go to Ag plus 1, remember. That means in comproportionation reaction, what happens is that plus 2, Ag with plus 2 will go to Ag. Here 2 will be forming. 2 Ag plus will form. 1 Ag plus 2 will go to 1 Ag plus 1. 1 Ag 0 goes to 1 Ag plus 1. That means what? The elements of same, means atoms of same element. Atoms of same element with different charges. Here plus 2 charge, here 0 charge. So the atoms of same element having different oxidation states going to the intermediate oxidation state. This oxidation state of the product must be in between plus 2 and 0. Intermediate oxidation state should be formed here. This type of redox reaction is called calm-proportionation reaction. Why it is called calm-proportionation instead of redox reaction? In redox reaction, atoms of two different elements must be undergoing oxidation and reduction. But in calm-proportionation, the species of same element, Ag and Ag, both same element, but different charges, Ag plus 2 and Ag 0, both going to same oxidation state. And this same oxidation state should be in between plus 2 and 0. That is why this X value is what now here 1. So X value is 1 here. It is calm-proportionation reaction. Next one. When 1 mole of a strong acid reacts with a 1 mole of strong base. Okay, 1 mole of strong acid when reacts with 1 mole of strong base, always 13.7 kilocalories energy will be released. Remember, this is called heat of neutralization. What is called, ma? Heat of neutralization. So 13.7 kilocalories per mole amount of energy is always released whenever 1 mole of a strong acid reacts with 1 mole of a strong base. Any strong acid and any strong base, 1 mole, 1 mole. When they react, always we get 13.7 kilocalories. Here 13 point Z given, na? Z value how much here now? 7. Z value is 7. Next, the number of moles of oxygen required to completely combust 1 mole of CH4. To completely burn 1 mole of CH2, how many moles of methane is required? How many moles of oxygen is required? They ask. Let's take the screenshot of this one. If you want, I will erase everything. And now see, now this question check it. In this case, methane CH4, it is hydrocarbon. What is hydrocarbon? When it combines with oxygen, it gives what now? Always CO2 and H2O. Okay, here how many carbon atoms in this? 1. Therefore, 1 CO2 will form. How many hydrogens here? 4. 4 by 2. Hydrogen number of hydrogen atoms in 1 molecule of hydrocarbon by 2. 4 by 2, how much? 2. Therefore, how many H2O will form? 2 H2O will form here. 2 H2O and 1 CO2 is formed here. Now, from right side to left side, you check it to balance oxygens here. So, 2 oxygens here, 2 into 1, 2. So 2 plus 2, 4 oxygen atoms here. Left side 2 atoms there here. That's why we have to make it 2O2. So how many moles of O2 is required here? 2 moles of O2. So 2 moles of O2 is required here. 2 moles of O2 is completely required to completely burn what? Means 2 moles of O2 is required to completely burn, to completely combust 1 mole of CH4. Combust means what here? Burn. Okay. So this is what now the discussion of JEE Mains Model Examination conducted on September 5th, 2021, right?